Hey guys, this is Dardamos of Dardamos Dominion. I'm back again with turn 4 and with Colin.
Except out of mouse. We've already done turn 4, so we're actually on to turn 5.
Hey, I watched the video. I heard my voice just fine. I was there. So I got these new AirPods, and I really like them because they got like good audio and stuff. But man, they are messing with all of OBS. Does not like that. Long story short. So once again, Satis is not happy because they ran into cataphracts. Cataphracts are bad, right?
Yeah, his problem is cataphracts have almost as much protection as heavy cav and have the stats of light cav, meaning they have better stats and almost the same armor, meaning elite warriors stand no chance.
So I was gonna put this on here, but it's full of cussing and very bad words, and so I don't want YouTube to be flag me, and I'm sure there's stuff in here that's horribly inappropriate. So we're just gonna assume that this is you can guess what it says. So. Hey, wait! Oh, dude, we got we didn't go over this. What can we do with Thaumaturgy 1?
I think the plan was to get up to Mindhunt and Soul Slay and kill a super combatant at the last turn of the game.
Oh, man. You just wait for a throne rush?
Yeah. And we find out somebody's been cheating this entire time. We secretly end that throne rush with 100 Astro 11s just casting Mindhunt at the same time.
We hacked your computer and found your browsing history. You were watching episodes. Okay, dude. Dude, with your push to talk, I couldn't tell if that was a pity laugh or not.
So, anyway, this turn has a bunch of these guys expanding. For the most part, it goes well. Ashdod cleans house. We find out that Marignon has been expanding using assassins because he's cleared out the commanders, which, since he has a citadel, is okay. It's not the strat I would use, but I understand why he's doing it.
We said that the only one that really should use it is M.A. Zabalba, right?
Yeah, but that's just because M.A. Zabalba just need land only because somebody's going to kick their teeth in while they get up to spells that allow them to counter anything.
And then we talked about Satis, but we'll wait for that message, because he actually brings that up in the message, so we'll talk about that. Okay, Ashdod being Ashdod. Vanheim being Vanheim. We talked about this really quick. Go into this and you can go really fast. So, elves are, for some reason, they get surrounded by 16 guys. And you see, this dude's got 9 guys around him, and yet his defense is only -3. Why is that again?
That's because the dudes on ponies or dudes on giant sheep take half harass penalties. And since he's an elf, he's got something stupid like 21 defense, and he's got a longer weapon than the barbarian, so he's repelling them. So he's in reality only taking 4 or 5 attacks per round, which is keeping the harass penalty super low.
So he's got a high defense, he's repelling, and he's also got
mirror image.
Now, how does that work? Is it half of the attacks hit the mirror image, or is it more than that?
I actually don't know the stats on this, but mirror image will block attacks unless the main target gets hit.
Okay, so I think this is the same as Glamour's the same as mirror image, correct?
Mirror image and glamour are interchangeable.
Okay, it's just that mirror image you can get more images, and you can have this guy that looks like 16 different guys.
Yeah, you have an Air 10 cast mirror image, and oh boy, there's a lot of that guy.
Okay, so the only problem that and then normally they have 13 protections is not bad protection, except that the great sword does 24 damage. Eventually, this poor guy right here pops. So
yeah, 13 protection is actually on the low end for MA. The averages are about 8 to 10 protection for EA, 13 to 15 protection for MA, and then for late age, it's between 15 to 18, with some nations going up to 20.
I did not know that. I thought everything was just 10. 10's a nice round number.
Yeah, the independent nations, they get better gear as you progress. For example, there's like 7 different units with the tag heavy cavalry, and they all have different gear and stats as you progress.
Now, this is a really good this is really good exchange. Now, do barbarians get better as you go through the ages, or are barbarians always barbarians?
Barbarians are always barbarians. The size of barbarians gets better throughout the ages. So you could be fighting like a 40 province in EA, and in late age, it could be like an 80.
Jesus, ridiculous. Okay, so Ulm's being Ulm, and Ulm is doing good. Ulm is being Ulm, and Ulm is doing good. Taking chip damage on his White Centaurs, chip damage on his expansion party, and we want to watch this again.
Sure.
Okay, so this goes really, really wrong because... Okay, so his entire force decides to chase this one dude, and while they're off chasing this one dude, poor commander. Now, you said, you gave in the previous 3 times that we've done this video, you gave a suggestion as to what he should have done instead with the scripting.
Yeah, I would have split up his elite warriors into 2 groups. That way, that if one group has this heat-seeking missile on this one light infantry that can outrun them forever, the other group will make sure his taskmaster doesn't get stabbed in the face.
Okay, so like if this group pins and then the other group goes around, he could have just lost us anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you use all of your groups and try to make as much of a line formation as you can.
Yeah, unless you fight elephants. But we haven't fought elephants. Grippa hasn't fought elephants. I don't think he fights elephants.
He's only... Hey, we got nature gems. We didn't go over this. What are we going to do with nature gems?
Turn them into astral pearls.
Hey,
Maybe we'll get enough 8 nature gems. We'll empower, and we'll start summoning better researchers than these 1 research point per turn.
That'd be awesome. Okay, what turn was this? This was 5, right?
Yep, so we're on to 6.
Okay, so turn 6, and I actually have this is the one I actually have the numbers on how many provinces everybody has. Okay,
yeah, and I think this is the turn before. Yeah, this is the turn before something cool happens.
Okay, so Grip always comes to me and always asks me about these different things, and one of the things he talked to me about was the poisoners. And he's like, "Hey, dude, my poisoners all died. What's up with that?" And I'm like, "Well, what you did cast skeletons, right?" And he's like, "Oh." And he had them set to attack, and mage assassins hitting commanders doesn't work. Now, you said that you don't even use these against indie commanders, correct?
Yeah, they're 90 gold, and they're a cheap research mage. So I'll get them during expansion instead of a Sauromancer, because Sauromancers, actually no, that's EA. Marshmasters cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Because they're 200 and something gold, and they're not sacred. I'd get the 90 gold one that'll have a use of, if I get attacked, it will either swarm down the attacker if they don't have poison res or fire shield, or if they have that, they'll just cast skeletons at it until they both fall asleep and die.
Okay, so moving on, Vanheim has why did he prophetize a Vanhurst and not something earlier?
Well, he prophetized a Vanhurst for 2 main reasons. One, they start off as holy ones, which means when he's leading a squad of bands, it's hard to bless them all since they're size 3. And 2, by making a Vanna prophet, he is able to move 2 provinces sneakily with his bands and elf somebody hard.
Okay, Ashdod, we talked about this. He's going, instead of going against 2 provinces, he's being very, very conservative. Why do you think that he's being so conservative?
I think he's being conservative, honestly, because he's a weaker player. He didn't realize that he was making an Ashdod bless. He thought he was making a Hinnom bless at the beginning of the game, and still a Hinnom without regen is a weird Hinnom, but we're powering through. The only one of the Ashdod line that doesn't get regen is Gath, and that's because Gath's sacreds only have something like 35 HP. But
I've
as we're
played
moving,
against the regen Gath, and it's not the worst bless in the world. But yeah,
that's because you're in late age with basically humans when everyone with humans. But moving on, he's took a wrong bless, and I think he was expecting the province he hit to be stronger than it was. However, he should have just sent the shipbreakers into it, because the shipbreakers don't care what the PED is; it will kill it.
Okay, so moving on, we go to Marignan, which just boring. Oh, and then the war elements. Okay, so real quick, why do we use the Vestals? Why do you use the Vestals against elements?
Because since Vestals aren't size 6, the elephant's only way of damaging them is with trample. And since the Vestals have, I think, 12 real defense, not counting their shield, and they're ethereal, meaning they'll block 75% of the attacks against them that aren't magical, the Vestals should survive long enough for his other troops to throw javelins at them and kill them.
Okay, let's see what happens. So instead of the Vestals taking them all out, and I see these Vestals are going around the back. Do you think he had them on set on attack or on attack rear? Because this is really weird.
I think they were just on attack, and the AI decided what to attack.
Okay, they're coming back now. It's really weird. I think you want to go and attack large monsters, right? Are elephants cavalry or large monsters? Are they large monsters or are they cavalry?
Large monsters are size 5 and up. It doesn't matter what they are. So
these guys are actually large monsters. Okay, and as a result, he loses some troops, but at the same time, he at least gets some.
Yeah.
Okay, then all the elephants die at once rather than run away. So, the thing with these elephants are that they're only 9 morale. It was a squad of 4, so like he must have gotten so lucky with his morale checks, dude. So flippin' lucky.
Yeah, the indie elephants probably made every single roll.
And that's like 1 per turn, isn't it? If you're in a squad of 4 and taking damage, or squad of 4 and next to an enemy, isn't it like you have to take the roll?
Yeah, if you're a squad of 4 or less, you have to take the roll.
Okay, so Vanheim being Vanheim, Ulm being Ulm, Airmore getting their face planted. So, real quick on this one, they're even a box formation.
Yeah.
Why are they not able to kill these things? They've got like a spear, good attack, 14 damage, and it's 11 protection. They're not getting. Are they dying too fast or what?
The elephants are moving out of range.
Okay.
So how combat round works is attacks aren't simultaneously, but they're not turn-based either. So it's based on combat speed, weapon length, and a whole bunch of other shit that I'm not entirely sure of. But since the elephants attack trample, they move, and sometimes move out of range, so they can't be stabbed with a spear.
Wow, this was a disaster for him. He lost a sensor, which means that he didn't that's death gems. He lost 2 of his sacreds, which are his sacreds. What did his knights do during this battle? I'm not just looking at this one. I'm sorry. So they went back around and they actually hit these slingers here.
So if the slingers weren't in that position, and were on the other side of the map, he would have won that battle. But because there was an amount of slingers there greater than 10, and he didn't have 5-ish knights, he couldn't kill them fast enough.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, so Pan taking more attrition. Airmore, we were talking about this because 14 heavy cavalry. He lost 2 knights the turn before and won this, or in the fight before and then won this time. I still think this is a pretty good exchange. What do you think?
I think based on his other loss this turn, the exchange could have been better. But losing that knight is always a tough pill to swallow, just due to the fact that they are slow to get.
That's fair enough. The thing that I really like, 14 heavy cavalry for 30, 14 heavy cavalry for what comes down to 1 sacred is not the worst in the world, but I think it's going to limit his ability to expand. I think he might have wanted to go after another province. Where the exchange might have not been bad, losing this many troops would be.
Yeah, now he's got to go back to Ermor itself and grab more forces to move out again.
Exactly. Nothing. Oh, ouch. Did we catch this the first time? Oh yeah, we did. So the problem that Pan's having is that they have a crappy bless. In fact, they don't have much bless at all. Magic weapons, shock and fire.
So he's going a relatively, he went on a Wake God with no regen or flaming weapons or thunder weapons, with no big oomph thing. He went with fire shock resistance.
Yeah,
so
what, Earth 5?
He's got a small bless, and a mobile god, and he's using white centaurs without stats. So basically what's happening is they're being slowly chipped down battle by battle.
What's funny is that if you want to use an awake pretender immobile, you need to go Thong. But as Pan, you want to go Alt. Because that's where you get your Swarm, that's where you get your Mother Oak. He doesn't have a Mother Oak caster. He's not going to be able to cast Mother Oak unless he gets Construction and or Lucky.
No, he needs both. He needs Construction and Luck, because he can only random a Nature 4 Pan.
Oh, in this era, can you only get Nature 4?
Yes.
Look at that real quick. Because I know they do have a 10% chance in the other era. So 3, 4. Okay, so you've got a 10% chance of getting a Nature 5. And it's no 3% chance. A 1.5% chance. So you get 1.5% chance of getting a Nature 5 Pan. What do you need in order? You need to cast. You need Nature 5 in order to cast Mother Oak, right?
Yep.
So all he needs is a Nature 4 and then a Thistle Ace.
Yep, which is Con 4.
So he needs to go Construction 4 and Alt. But by the way, he's got a immobile pretender that would really like Thong.
Except it's not a monolith, so I'm not sure the Statue of War can actually mono drop.
I know the Statue of War can, but he has a Statue of Order, and I think they can as well.
There are certain giant rocks and dominions that you can take as god that have a hidden tag that says cannot move through any means, meaning you cannot teleport them anywhere. And if you take one of those, not knowing that, and you put enough Astra on it to teleport, you will be in for a sad day when it no longer moves.
I had a guy that was playing a Disciples match. The pretender died, and he took an immobile. His prophet died. So his friend died. He's the only guy left, and he took one of those immobiles, and he didn't have an easy way of getting an H3. He was Jotunheim. He had the only person who could claim thrones was his pretender, who literally couldn't move. It was a very sad day.
But yeah, that's when you break into a Water 3 You give it a ring of water breathing. You find some underwater province, and you just summon Bishop Fish for the end of time.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to do that as a land nation. Like, that's one thing that's sad is the only way you can get those H3s. I don't even think there are independent H3s, are there?
No, but you can get independent H2s through random events, and there are certain artifacts at Con 8, that is hard to forge, that will give you an extra holy path.
So, I'm sorry, say it again, sorry?
There are certain artifacts at Construction 8 that will give you an extra holy path, and the game can give you holy 2s.
Okay. So there are other ways. I think that I saw that General Confusion did that with one of his games, so. Okay, so moving on. Is there anything... real quick. So, right now, Ashdod, Ulm, and Van all have 7 provinces and are tied for winning the expansion. Airmore's at 5, Scalaria's at 4, along with Pan and Marignan. And then Satis is in last place with 3 provinces. Who is winning it right now?
Honestly, it's Scalaria that's winning expansion, based on how awful his spawn location is, and the fact that he's almost taken a province every turn. Compare that to Ashdod, who at this point probably should almost be at 10 provinces, and Vanheim is doing well. He could be doing better, but not much. And Ulm's doing good for Ulm, but he has yet to hit really hard provinces. And when he hits a big heavy calf province or an elephant province, it's going to really hurt him on his troops.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that Ulm's in a position, in my opinion, that they could win this with their expansion if they go here, take out those barbarians if they want to, like, go here, cut off Scalaria here. I think it's going to be too late, though. Like, if they'd have gone, instead of going here, if they'd have gone here, Scalaria would have been cut off, and they'd have had all this area to themselves.
Except Scalari has cold scales, so they can get off their little nublet of an island.
Yeah, eventually.
Possibly.
They could have come over here, but this would have been going towards Van rather than going towards Ulm. So, I was kind of disappointed because I think that Ulm should be expanding a lot more and a lot faster, in my opinion. Even though they're at 7. What's interesting is it's turn 6, and the highest province count is 7 at this point. I was kind of surprised by that. How many provinces do you usually want by turn 6 on your average nation?
So, if we're talking about the average nation is actually in this game. It's MA Satis. Got average troops, average mages, average strategy. You want to have around 6 provinces by turn 6 to 8 provinces.
Okay. Yeah, normally when I expand, I think that my goal is to have over turn count by turn 6. So I want at least 7 with any build. Otherwise you need to rely more on skill rather than resources. It's good to have a big nation. It's good to be a good player, but it's really good to have a big nation and be a good player. And so that's my goal, is to always have a little bit more by this point in my tests. But I like strong expanders, so I'm kind of a little biased on that. I like the ones that expand strong. What do you think's holding Satis back?
He ran into cataphract provinces. He's been making a lot of assassins. And I think he's been underutilizing the free spawn that he has access to. Satis has access to free spawn snakes, which aren't really good for anything other than taking lance charges or arrow shots.
Yeah, that is kind of nice, though. And I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. So you just put them on the front line, let the cataphracts run into them, and then you surround them.
Right.
Okay. So moving on to the next turn. Holy crap, dude! We've already been 25 minutes on this. We're not going to be able to finish. Is that turn 6?
Turn 6. We're on turn 7 now.
Okay, so Satis says there's a crack in his cap circle. Kraken's good, or is that a thing that you should complain about?
No, if we're talking about underwater indies, the things you complain about are A. Shark Tribe, B. Amber Clan Tritons, C. Sea Trolls. And yes, he does have Sea Trolls, but he only has like 10 Sea Trolls. He doesn't have the dreaded 20 plus Sea Troll provinces.
Yeah. And that's the Kraken. What's interesting about this is it kind of shows you how experienced, like, Grippa's learning and he's growing really fast, but he doesn't have a lot of games under his belt to know that the Kraken is not the scary part in that province. The Kraken, in fact, is the easiest part of that province. It's the Sea Trolls.
The Sea Trolls regen 11 points of HP per round because underwater they have 20% regen.
Okay, so moving into the so he face planted against Heavy Cat.
Yes.
Okay, and just went right around him. Again, I think two different lines would have done this again, just like before.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is that when you have two lines, the way it works that I can tell when you attack closest is that when your troops sticky, which means like get in the zone of control of a unit, the rest of the troops seem to form around that unit. And so they try to sticky there. And if you have a unit that's been, and if you've got your units farther apart, you're able to sticky the enemy a lot easier. If you are in a zone of control, I don't think you can move.
You want to know what happens?
What's that say?
Zone of control is an MR check.
Really?
So, for a group of soldiers in a formation to run past enemy soldiers and attack something else, it's a morale roll. If they fail that morale roll, they will attack the closest group to them. That's why when you have flyers on attack rear, they sometimes won't hit the rearmost troops. They failed an MR roll.
Okay, I didn't know that. So that's really, really interesting.
Sorry, not MR, morale roll.
Morale, yeah. You said the second time, and that made a lot more sense. Okay, so sadly, Ulm decided to go into Airmore's cap circle.
Which, gotta say, love the brass balls on that man. That's a dangerous move to make.
I don't think it's any more ballsy than going line formation against elements.
Okay, but that comes with experience. Running into Ermore's capital generally doesn't happen.
I'm going to screenshot this and label it experience because he's going to get some right here. Okay, so why do you want to go box formation instead of line formation against elements?
You sum this up best, but basically, with a line formation, the elephant will run through your line and get out of range. However, in box, he'll run and get stuck between your troops and then get killed instantly.
So their protection is not that high. It's only 11 protection. And these guys have got 22 friggin' damage, like 18 piercing. So they're going to deal about 10 damage each. If 6 of these guys hit, and defense 9, it's not like you can miss an elephant. 9 of your guys hit, and an elephant dies immediately. So if he was in box formation, he might still not have critical mass. I'm interested in that. Oh yeah, just nom. He still did kill 2 of them. I am impressed. So he made it much easier, 3 of them. So he made it much easier for Airmore to take this next time. What a hell. Okay. 2, assassin, wasting an assassin turn. More, brain is down. He's getting whittled down a lot. And then, this one.
The Marignan Communion Battle.
I'm so glad. Okay.
This one fight is why I am no longer cheering for any players. The players can go mess around with themselves in the bushes. I am squarely on Team Indies because of this one province already.
I'm so glad we got to do this video just so we can watch this one again. Not gonna lie. Okay, so this guy can Power of the Spears and Skella Spam. This guy can do pretty much nothing. I mean, I guess theoretically, maybe he could, communion up. This guy has got blood slaves, and this is a scary one. So, let's look at this one. Okay, so we got 2 slaves and a communion master. And that's amazing. Okay, so...
Yes, and the spells the AI casts, I mean, I would rather use, if I was casting, I'd use all my blood slaves on imps first, then quarter skeletons, but it interchanges, which is nice, and it's just icing on the cake, knowing that even if Marignon loses this battle, the Indies will get all their gems back, and he'll have to fight it again.
So yeah, I still think it was not a complete loss because he did clear out a lot of the chaff, but and chaff is important. If you're going to do skeleton spam, you do need some chaff up front so you don't get just overwhelmed. But yeah, this was absolutely amazing. Just having a communion. But yeah, we got to hurry this up. I'm hearing my son in the background throwing a fit. So, yep. And then Ashdod being Ashdod. Anything else you want to say before we end the turn? Again.
Other than the fact that there's some border friction already between the flavors, not flavors, players. It looks like the next 3 turns are going to be quite eventful because they might have some bumps soon.
Yeah, I'm really hoping there's some bumps and actually something of interest. Okay, guys, well, that's going to be it for today. Hopefully the recording went well and you're going to be able to see this one. So, talk to you later. Want to say bye? Want to say bye?
Bye.